Hey, welcome back. Let's talk about what's happening right now with the US housing market based on a new report from Redfin just posted today. Also share my insights regarding what I feel will happen this year, and also I'll share some insights regarding what's happening right now in the Los Angeles housing market. So let's go ahead and dive right in. If you haven't subscribed to us yet, please do so. I post frequent housing market updates so you guys can be more informed. So again, this is posted today, which is on January 16th. It says pending sales, a measure of home buyers getting their offers accepted, posted their biggest decrease on a year-over-year basis in over a year this week, as did new listings, a measure of people listing their house for sale. So the demand side decreasing, but new supply also falling as well. But mortgage purchase applications, these are people who are applying for loans for a mortgage to buy a house, is on the rise, and rates are also coming down as well. I'll have some news to share regarding that. It says home tours and pending sales are falling as devastating wildfires burn SoCal. Extreme cold and snow hit the Northeast, Midwest, and South, and housing costs are rising across the country due to elevated prices and, of course, elevated rates as well. So, of course, we had record snowfall amounts in these areas, and of course, we had these wildfires burning in SoCal, which I made a video regarding that. Price gouging, what's going on in the housing market there. I posted that 2 days ago, so have a look at that. In any case, I'm not going to read Redfin's analysis regarding what's happening, so I will provide a link below for this article, though, if you guys want to have a look at that. So I first want to share some leading indications. Let's talk about rates or mortgage rates. So they have the rate as of yesterday, January 15th, was at 7.13%. Rates hit 7.26% this week. That was the highest level since the end of May this year. Let's look at rates today, though. On the 16th, it actually decreased by 2 basis points. These are average rates according to a survey that is conducted every day from the Mortgage News Daily. These are people buying their primary home, not an investment property. They have excellent credit. They're putting down a hefty deposit or hefty down payment as well. So the average rate today is at 7.11% according to them. So looking at the chart over the past 1 year, you can see that rates have been increasing quite a bit ever since September last year, but over the past couple of days has been coming down. So looking at rates 1 year ago, the average rate was at 6.77%. Therefore, rates have increased by 34 basis points compared to the same time frame in 2024. By the way, I talk a lot about regarding housing market forecasts in this channel. And of course, I shared that how a lot of forecasters are expecting to see rates in the high sixes for much of this year. We'll have to see if that actually comes into fruition, but a lot of forecasters believe we're gonna have this higher for a longer rate environment, rates above 6% on average through 2026. Of course, a lot could change though, of course. Going back to Redfin's report, let's talk about application numbers. That was up by 27% from 1 week earlier, but still down 2% year over year. And that is this article right here. I'll provide a link below for it. Actually, it is linked right here. So I'll just provide Redfin's article. So this was posted 2 days ago or yesterday. Mortgage applications increased by a whopping 33.3% from 1 week ago. This includes refis plus purchase applications. So refis actually increased by 22% compared to the same week 1 year ago. And application numbers for purchases were down by 2% year over year, but increased a whopping 27% from 1 week earlier. So people applying for loans to buy houses increased quite a bit compared to 1 week ago, but we're still down by about 2% year over year. Something I found to be interesting as well, looking at the share of refinances, that was at 42.7% of total applications. So about 4 of every 10 applications for home loan came from people who want to do a refinance. That figure has been in the 30% range for quite some time. So at 43%, that's still very much elevated right now. The best way for me to kind of describe this is that we have a relatively low level of applications for refis plus purchases. Therefore, the percent change and also the share of application numbers can be quite volatile. So looking at the refi index, this is on the Mortgage News Daily's website. You can see here over the past couple of years, the level of applications for refis has been at relatively low levels, around 370 to about 500. That's the index. But back in, when was this? Back in March of 2020, it was at 6,418. Now it's at around 617. So at relatively low levels compared to when rates were at 3% in 20 through 2021. So refis at relatively low levels, and also purchases as well. These are applications again. Over the past 5 years, the peak was more or less in January of 2021 when the index was just under 350. And now it's less than 200 right now. So when talking about the percent changes, we're talking about a large percentage from a small number. All right, going back to Redfin's article, they talk about their index for home buyers. Obviously, a high index means that there's a lot of activity that they were receiving from home buyers. That was down by 11% from a month ago, hitting its lowest level since August last year, but it is up by 6% year over year. Meanwhile, people who are searching for home for sale was up by a staggering 35% from 1 month ago, but still down by 4% year over year. Something they don't mention, which I'm not too sure why, is home tours. This is according to showingtime.com. It's not a perfect measure of people looking at houses for sale, but ShowingTime is one service that agents use. I don't actually use it, but some agents do in North America. So they basically track how many real estate agents are showing houses to their home buyers. So they look at the percent change compared to the first week of the year. And they have 2025 for the week ended January 15th, which was yesterday. So this year, home tours are up by 5.3% compared to the first week this year. That's more or less in line with 21, 2022, and 2023, but much higher compared to what happened last year this time. Last year this time, we're only up by 0.1% compared to the first week that year. Now we're up by 5.3%. The reason why I share this website is that this is not a perfect indication of home buying demand, but is loosely correlated to closed home sales in the coming months. Because if you see an uptick in application numbers, an uptick in home tours, one would imply that would cause an increase in home sales in the next couple of months. And same goes, of course, for Google searches for houses for sale as well. All right, let's change gears and talk about home prices based on the median sold price for the 4 weeks ended January 12th this year. And Redfin tracks approximately 400 US metros, and their weekly data goes back to 2015. So if you ever hear record high or record low, it only goes back to 2015, not during the Great Recession. And of course, their data is subject to revision. So the median sold price nationwide is just under $380,000. That was an increase of 5.8% year over year. So I'm curious, where are all the crash brothers right now? Because a lot of people are saying that, 2024, home prices were going to decrease by 20, 30, 40%. And here we are in early January, it's up by 5.8% year over year, just saying. Now, speaking of that, let's have a look at the 50 biggest metros. They look at home price changes year over year. So there's only 3 metros that are down year over year. That's Austin, Texas, which has been in this spot for about a year or so. Austin, Texas is down by 4.1. SF is down by 3.1. And Tampa, Florida is down by 0.5%. So 47, though, of the 50 biggest cities has posted a gain on a year-over-year basis. The biggest increase is a whopping 20.4% in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. After that was Cleveland, Warren, Michigan, Pittsburgh, and Newark, New Jersey, up by 12.9%. Now, even though there's only 3 metros that are down year over year, last week when I was looking at this article, there was actually only 1 metro that was down. That was Austin, Texas. So San Francisco and Tampa, Florida are now down, whereas last week they were up. All right, let's look at Redfin's data center, looking at the US median sold price. So again, right now is at $380,000, up by 6%. At this time in 2024, we're at $359,000, up by 4%. So we're actually a little bit higher year over year compared to what happened last year. Now, here's something that probably a lot of you guys are not going to like to hear, but I'm just going to be honest with you guys. I feel that this year we'll probably get to new all-time record highs based on the US median sold price this spring. And here's why I think this. The all-time record high was set back in June this year at $396,000. To start the year, we were at $360,000 last year. Therefore, prices increased by about $40,000, nearly $40,000 from January through June last year. Now, to start the year, we're at $380,000, and therefore, to get to a new all-time record high, it only has to increase by $16,000 compared to a swing of about $40,000 that we saw in 2024. And keep in mind, the average rate for much of 2024 was around 7%. But despite that, we saw a huge uptick in home sold prices during the spring home buying season last year. All right, let's change gears again and talk about pending home sales, new listings, and active listings or housing inventory. So pending home sales, a measure of people getting their offers accepted, was down 8.4% year over year. That's the biggest year-over-year decrease since October of 2023. So we potentially could see a low level of home sales this year, which I also expect as well. Just like we saw last year, where last year we basically had a 29-year low in closed home sales for the entire year, the lowest level since 1995. Yet home prices still increased by 5 to about 6%. Anyways, looking at new supply here in the market, that was down 3.6%, the biggest decrease since September of 23. So a decrease in demand, but also a decrease in new supply here in the market as well. Also, active listings, which is housing inventory, increased by only 9.8%. That was the smallest increase in nearly 1 year. So it's not like inventory is actually piling up. In fact, it's doing just the opposite. Let's look at the charts though. So new listings are down 3.6% right now. There's around 48,000 new listings to hit the market. Not too far off the past couple of years though. Pending home sales decreased by 8.4%, at least a 3-year low as well. By the way, the black line is 22, the blue line is 23, and the orange line is what happened last year. As you guys can see, it's more normal to see pending home sales increase in February through the spring home buying season. And right now it's normal to see that sales are at relatively low levels. Let's also have a look at housing inventory nationwide. Of course, every market's different, but nationwide we're up by about 9.8%. But this is the lowest level on a year-over-year basis in quite some time. So looking at last year, which is in orange, at 9.4%, we haven't seen the number that low going all the way back until the 4 weeks ended March 3rd of 2024. Now, one of the reasons why inventory is going down is that it's seasonal, but the year-over-year increase only up by about 10%, the lowest level in quite some time. One of the reasons is this right here. Closed home sales rose by 10.9% year over year. That's higher than 2023 as well as 2024. Of course, it's lagging behind 22. At that time, our housing market was in full swing due to a lot of people who wanted to lock in a rate at below 4%. That caused overall home buying activity to absolutely explode during the spring home buying season that year. I always say that real estate is local. So let's have a look at the 50 biggest cities, how they fare. There's only 2 metros that reported an increase in pending home sales. This means that 48 of the 50 biggest cities reported a decrease, or 96% of the 50 biggest cities are down year over year. By the way, something that I found to be interesting that you guys should be aware of as well, is that this number, the number of metros that reported gain compared to 12 months ago, has actually been going down. So looking at Redfin's report from 1 week ago, pending home sales 1 week ago, this is for the 4 weeks ended January 5th, increase in 9 metros. Now again, it has only increased in 2 metros. Now 2 weeks ago, which is right here, there was actually 16 metros that reported a gain year over year. Now again, there's only 2. This is telling me that we're going to see a low level of closed home sales in the coming months because there's a lack of activity for much of the U.S., at least for the 50 biggest cities. Now, the biggest increases, or we're looking at small increases here. Anaheim, California, in SoCal, that reported gain up by 1.8%, and New Brunswick, New Jersey is up by 0.6%. In contrast, Newark, New Jersey is down 18.3%, New York is down by 17.8%, Detroit 16.7%, Minneapolis and Tennessee all down by more than 16%. Something to keep in mind regarding these figures in this video, we're only talking about a 4-week rolling average. So this latest report is for the 4 weeks ended January 12th, 2025. So my guess, this is my predictions in the next month or two, probably a month, I'm guessing, is that Los Angeles is probably going to be reporting an increase in pending home sales due to the fires that are occurring in Los Angeles, where there's about 5,000 houses that are completely destroyed or damaged in Los Angeles. In the greater Los Angeles area, including those two major fires, there's around 10,000 structures that were completely lost. If you missed my video regarding that, I posted that 2 days ago, talking about price gouging, the Los Angeles housing market, and how I feel the metros and areas in the vicinity of the fires, but not in the fire zone, are going to see an uptick in home sales and home buying activity. That's areas like in Beverly Hills, Brentwood, Santa Monica, for example, because a lot of people are displaced. And if they have to work close or live close to their work in Los Angeles, they're probably going to relocate, either renting or they're going to buy a house. So I'm guessing that Los Angeles is going to join this list of pending home sales increasing year over year. And the reason for that as well, I'll just share data regarding that. Here is the number of people who are searching for Los Angeles homes for rent. These are Google searches online over the past 12 months. As you can see, the interest over the past 12 months is the highest ever. And here we are in mid-January, early January, and it's higher compared to the spring home buying season, where a lot of people are looking to move, whether it's to rent or buy a house. So, the highest levels right now for the week ended January 18th. Also, looking at Los Angeles homes for sale, also a 12-month high as well. In fact, if I change this over the past 2 years, going back to mid-December of 2022, it's also more or less a 3-year high as well. So activity for people looking for a house to buy in Los Angeles, basically at a 3-year high right now. Now, I know that this does not necessarily translate to more closed home sales because more people are searching for houses for sale, but this is loosely tied here. Obviously, a big uptick in people looking to either rent or buy a house in Los Angeles. Going back to Redfin's report, looking at new supply here in the market, it increased in 17 of the 50 biggest cities. The biggest increase, San Jose, California, up by 13%. Then we have Phoenix, Seattle, Jacksonville, Florida, and then Anaheim, California. In contrast, the biggest declines are Newark, New Jersey, Detroit, Austin, Texas, Warren, Michigan, and San Antonio, Texas, down by 18.7%. If you look at the month supply on a national level, the month supply is at 4.6 months. A general rule of thumb is around a 4-month supply, 4 to 5 month supply is a balanced housing market. Anything above that is a buyer's market. Anything below that is a seller's market in which sellers have an advantage over home buyers. So right now we're at 4.6 months. The small green line right there, the blue line is what happened last year, orange 23, and the red line below is 2022. What really caught my attention is 23 compared to 22. Look at that big increase from 1.8 months to 3.5 months in one single year. Whereas the past few years, we have been seeing an uptick, but not as great as what we saw in 2023. In regards to houses selling, or how long they're taking to sell, it's at 50 days right now. 1 year ago this time, houses on average were selling about 45 days. So houses are taking about 5 to 6 days longer compared to 1 year ago. In addition, let's have a look at the average sale price to final list price ratio. For all the houses nationwide that did close over the past 4 weeks, they sold for 1.8 percentage points less than the seller's final list price. That means a ratio of 98.2%. That's below levels compared to 1 year ago, but very small decrease. but higher than 2023. Back then, homes on average were selling for more than 2 percentage points less than their asking price. But obviously, this is way lower compared to the craziness of 2022. Back then, the average 30-year fixed rate was less than 4%. Now we're at around 7%. So it makes sense that homes on average were selling for the asking price back then, and right now they're selling for less than asking. What we should expect to see this year is a gradual decrease through February, which is seasonal, and then an uptick during the spring home buying season as more home buyers come out to buy a house, and therefore it causes homes to sell closer to their asking price on average. With that said, if you guys got any value out of today's video, then please hit the like button. Also, if you're thinking about moving to the greater Sacramento area or the San Francisco Bay Area, then please email me at jason@meetjasonwalter.com. My team and I would love to help you guys. Of course, if you're looking to buy or sell a house anywhere nationwide, we've been helping a lot of people lately on that, then please email me as well. You also can check out my website, which is realestateteamfinder.com. Hope you guys have an amazing day. Thank you everyone for watching today's video, and we'll see you in the next one.